Welcome to the Offshore Club's fun-filled, fact-filled, fast-paced, blockbuster podcast, Coffee with Carib Carter, coming to you exclusively from where the sun never sets on the good life at a great price. And now, fill up your favorite coffee mug and join your expert and your guide, Carib Carter Clues.
Welcome to Coffee with Carib Carter, episode, I think, 37. Whew. We are best friends by now. It's been a long time, and for me, that's fantastic. And I deeply appreciate all the great notes I get from all of you. And I say bravo to those of you who write to me and say, hey, man, I'm making my move offshore. Keep it up. And everybody else who's watching, join them. It is the good life at a great price once you get down to Central and South America, which is obviously what we talk about every episode of Coffee with Carib Carter. Make sure also to follow me at Facebook, Carib Carter, LinkedIn, Carib Carter, and Rumble. I post every day, sometimes a couple times a day. Always kind of enjoyable. And speaking of enjoyable, I post my post yesterday. I had a guest on that I actually have with me today, kind of a co-host. Ready? First time ever we've had a co-host on Coffee with Carib Carter here. All right. I love it. Thank you, Snoopy. Thank you. That's good enough. Good enough. Thank you, Snoopy. I hate it when they come on and try and take over the whole show, right? But Snoopy is psyched about Christmas. Snoopy said to me, Carib Carter, I don't care whether Anthony Fauci says we're going to have a Christmas or not this year. I'm going to have a Christmas. And we are at Offshore Club. So thank you, Snoopy. We'll bring you back at the end to say adios, amigos. Okay, so special guest host today as we explore what's going on offshore that you'll be interested in and at your Offshore Club. Okay, kind of unique to have not one but two great interviews. One with a gentleman who is going to be part of a new service that your Offshore Club is starting to provide for you. It's called the Offshore Club Guru's Corner. Okay, we are going to have fitness experts. Well, let me put it in context. The reason we're doing this is for those already offshore. Okay, a lot of times, like with the fitness expert, when I lived way out in the woods in El Pino, there was no gym nearby. So the fitness expert we're going to bring to the Guru's Corner is going to help you learn how to get in shape and actually build muscle, resistance training and everything without having the gym and the weights and all, like I actually have in my basement here. So that's a tremendous service. That fitness guru, we're going to have a holistic guru, body, mind, and spirit. And we're going to have lawyers from offshore in the Guru's Corner. And we're going to have the person I'm going to be interviewing later today, a gentleman named Romulus, okay, who is an investment expert. And as I say in the interview, I'll preface it with this now. He can tell you how to make money on the market so that if you're one of the thousands of Offshore Club members already living offshore, extra money, a lot of extra money. If you're one of those considering or planning, preparing, you'll have the money to buy the home of your dreams offshore. So a lot of great stuff coming up. Also interviewing Charlotte Tweed. She is the top person at escapeartist.com, kind of a sister organization to the Offshore Club that provides a lot of different kinds of information than we do. We each have our own niche. And she's the editor of the Insiders magazine, which we're going to tell you about it when I talk to Charlotte. But I think it's a magazine you're going to want to subscribe to, folks. Nothing else like it in the offshore marketplace. Nothing. And it's great. And I write for it. So get to see my column every month, Escape Route. So all that is coming up. An incredible $1,000 listing, Caribbean. And the motivation moment, of course, at the end. And because we have these interviews and they're going to take up a lot of time, I'm going to be going like jackrabbit fast here in order to make sure we can get it all in without taking up your whole afternoon or evening or whenever it is that you watch Coffee with Carib Carter. or morning when we have our coffee in the morning. So let's start with a real quick Mad Max update. I'm not going to take long on it because we don't have long, but I just want to point out that, you know, I've told you, I've mentioned before, if you get a chance, read Jeffrey Tucker's columns at Jeffrey Tucker, that's JEFFREY, .me. The guy is brilliant, and he really lays out the truth about what's going on in this country. And this week, he has a great column where he talks about the inflation. Folks, I don't think I have to tell you, if you've been to the store, it's out of sight. And remember, here's what, look at the construction materials. He had this graphic. That's 75% increase in construction materials. Okay. We know what's happening with your Thanksgiving meal. Look at this. Look at this. That's a lot of money, folks. That's a lot of money when it hits over and over again. This inflation here. Okay. Look at this. You go to the gas pump. You try and buy some meat for your family occasionally. Look at those price increases. Look, folks, the producer price index went up 8.6%. I'm telling you, that means the inflation rate at the grocery counter, the retail inflation rate after the first of the year is going to be around 20%. Okay. It's going to hit Jimmy Carter heights. Okay. That's what Joe Biden has brought us. That's what he's brought us with his cockeyed policies. And here's the two things that you may say, well, Carter, you know, we've had inflation before and all that, but not like this. And I'll tell you the difference. I've lived through it. I've lived through a lot of inflationary cycles. I lived through the Jimmy Carter fiasco. But this is the first time we've seen the government simply not care. Okay? Simply not care. What did Biden say? Well, you need to just take the long view. The hell we do. We don't pay our grocery bills in the long view. We don't put gas in the car in the long view. But his press person said, well, it's an upper class problem. Well, she makes a fortune in Washington Insider. That's ugly stuff. And the fact that they lied to us tells you how much they really care. Remember what Yellen and Powell, and Yellen, Treasury Secretary, Powell, Fed chairman, and Biden said when this whole inflation thing started, and all of you were saying, and I'll be getting notes from you, Carter, man, prices are starting to sky. And I'd say, yeah, they are, and they're going to get worse. And what did the trio say there, the Biden, Powell, Yellen trio? There's no inflation. And then when it became too obvious, what was the next thing? Well, it's transitory. Transitory. You think? I don't think so. That doesn't look very transitory to me. Okay, that doesn't look transitory. Okay, now they're admitting, well, it's here, but it'll be over sometime in 2022. No, it won't, because they don't care. Because they just don't care. For the first time in American history, we have a government that just doesn't care. If you think it does, and I'm going to finish the Mad Max part with this, look at the crime rate, the murder rate, highest increase in history, 30%. And what's the response? Do they crack down? Do they say this violence has to stop? Well, here's the response by the politicians in Los Angeles. Ladies and gentlemen, you need to learn to, what's the terms they use? Cooperate, concede and cooperate with those robbing you. Yeah, I wish, honest to God, wish I were making that up, but you can't make something like that up, can you? That's so ugly, you can't make it up. That they're advised, and in Seattle, where they've defunded the police, brilliant move. Now they provide a security escort for government workers to walk from their office to their car. The rest of you don't get that. That's going to get worse, okay? Because we have, for the first time in American history, a government that just doesn't care. Remember the reaction to the wipeout Tuesday, a week ago, 2 weeks ago now in Virginia. Nancy Pelosi's made it clear, we don't care. We're doing what we want to do. And they went right back to spending like crazy in the face of this kind of inflation rate, okay? So that's the difference. And that's why I keep saying get offshore now. Don't wait. By the way, I have a great column coming out in Insider Magazine called "Leave the refuse trash to the rats," about please don't wait till it's too late to leave. Okay, never be the last person off a sinking ship. Just don't do it, because you get sucked down under. All right. I talk about my uncle Jimmy Zagami, who was one of the last people to leave his little neighborhood in Washington a couple of decades ago, and it's a tragic story, but it's illustrative. So that's a Mad Max moment. You have a good life waiting for you offshore. Not a good life, a great life at prices you can't even believe. That will blow you away with how inexpensive and how delightful it is. That's the right word. Delightful it is when you make your move offshore. Everything you used to love here is still there. Okay, when you make that move. And that brings me to our 1,000. I told you I was going to gallop through this thing today. I have to, because I have 2 great interviews coming up. First one, and I'm going to do them back to back. We have our $1,000 listing Caribbean. This is always one of my favorite parts of the show, because this one I tell you, I keep telling you, you're going to find places to live in there cost you next to nothing. And it thrills me that every week I'm able to bring you one that is just, I know it blows you away, because I get your cards and letters, and I know you're buying the places. And again, I don't make any money off this. I am not a realtor. I don't work for RE/MAX. I love realtors and RE/MAX, but I don't work for them. Offshore Club, you'll never pay a penny to Offshore Club. It's between you and the seller down there. So this is one that I absolutely love. Okay. See this home here? That is a gorgeous home on the ocean in La Ceiba Beach Club in Honduras. By the way, I keep telling you about La Ceiba Beach Club, where I bought my home. I know. You know what I'm going to do now? I can't help myself. My home. Say, oh my gosh, Carter, we've seen that home like 1 million times. That's because I love it. For $32,000, 2 bedrooms, mahogany wood inside, throughout the doors, everything incredible, on the beach, on the ocean. This home is on the ocean. That home is 3 bedrooms and a studio room. Okay, 3 baths. Okay, unfinished swimming pool outside, which you can finish up very, very inexpensively. Absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous home. Here's a view from the outside there. Look at that. This is the view from your balcony. This is a view from your balcony. Okay, from your balcony. That's the view. That's the view. And what do you see out there when you step out? That's the ocean. Now you know who that is, because I showed you. That's my wife jogging in front of our home, which is very near the home that I'm showing you right now. Look at that. That's your life down there. You can't get more copacetic and tranquilo, as they say in Honduras, than this. When you look at the other direction from your balcony, those are Pico Bonito Mountains, the highest mountain range in Honduras, 8,000 feet. It's just absolutely stunning. Walk inside. Here's the hallways. I talked about the mahogany doors. This is a 2-story home. This is a gorgeous, gorgeous home. And I know women love kitchens, because I'm married. And look at that kitchen. By the way, this home comes fully furnished, with even down to the bed linens, and all the appliances, everything you want. Hardwood floors in parts of it, hardwood furniture, barbecue, outdoor chase lounges, everything you could want. And now brace yourself for the price, okay? Brace yourself for the price. $70,000. That is $1 million home, oceanfront in California. Million, maybe more. At least 500 to 600,000 in Florida, oceanfront. Because remember, this is not ocean view. This is oceanfront. You walk out the door, and you can go jogging with Angelita on your ocean. Okay, $70,000. That's it. But I urge you to swoop in and grab it up now, because I'm noticing now that the prices are starting to rise. Okay, of course they would, if for no other reason, because we help people get so many at the Offshore Club down south of the border. So go to, where can you find it? Here you go. Vivion.com. Go to Vivion, Viviun.com, Viviun.com. In the little box in the upper right-hand corner, type in that number. Okay, 264146. And click go. It'll take you right to that home. Contact the sellers. It's the owners who are selling it. And you've got yourself a mansion for next to nothing right on the ocean. And you will be my neighbor, so we can get together for a fish fry with, hold on, our other neighbor there, who the developer of the entire resort, Chris Barrett, who you'll recall we've interviewed several times, along with his wonderful wife Sue Hay, here on Coffee with Carib Carter. You know, those fish are from in front of your home, by the way, folks. Those giant tuna. Talk about a fresh fish fry. So there you have it. That's your $1,000 listing, Caribbean, from Carib Carter. And by the way, there are other homes available at that resort. And now, finally, Chris has his website up, LaCeibaBeachClub.com. LaCeiba, CEIBA, beachclub.com. Go there, look for all the homes, and buy one. Just buy one. You know, won't you be my neighbor? I'd love it. I would love it. And which reminds me, a little bit of almost housekeeping here. I've gotten several notes from people saying, Carib Carter, I thought you and Angelita were heading down to your place as soon as you finished up at your vacation home up in Riverbend Park that you've talked to us from so many times. And we were. But just a little housekeeping, because I always like to keep you informed as to what's going on, and answer any questions that I know you might have. That my brother broke his hip, and so God bless Angelita. We're going to go down and take care of him for, as long as it takes for him to get back on his feet. Okay, family first, which is another reason that we love Central and South America so much. Down there, it is family first. Okay. Family oriented, community oriented, and that's what's waiting for you down there. And particularly with this house, which you can grab, I'd grab it quick, $70,000 for essentially a mansion. Look at that, right on the ocean. Your place, that's your home. That's your home. It's waiting for you. Turnkey. Come on in, settle in. Even down to the bedspreads, it's all waiting for you. So as I always say, let's do this thing. All right, let's do this thing. And another thing we want to do now is we're going to do essentially back-to-back interviews now. Okay. First one I want to do is, as I mentioned earlier, with a gentleman named Romulus. Okay. He is a top investment expert. We're going right into that interview in just a minute. He remains anonymous for reasons. If you knew who it was, you'd say, well, now I understand why he's remaining anonymous, because he's giving away stuff to Offshore Club members that nobody else gets. Okay. He's going to help you be set up. So 20 to 25% return on investment annually. That's a huge amount. That's a huge amount. We get into it a little bit when I interview him in just a minute. And so let me bring him in now. And I think you're going to love this. And I think you're going to love the fact that you're going to get videos and columns of commentaries from him every week, helping you know where the market's going and where the smart money's going, your money, to help you make more. So super producer Brian, let's roll Romulus. Okay. Welcome Romulus to Coffee with Carib Carter.
Hey, appreciate that. I don't see your coffee though, Carter. What are you doing? Hiding it?
My coffee, man, right here.
All right.
I keep it close at hand. Let's do this thing.
That's a close-up right there, baby.
It's great to have you here. And I want to, I've set the stage a little bit for folks, but let me reiterate. Romulus is an investment expert. I feel like in saying that he's an investment expert, it reminds me of one of my favorite TV series was Hercule Poirot. Okay. with David Suchet. And one of my favorite scenes, my wife and I laugh about all the time, is when somebody said to him, "Oh, you're Hercule Poirot, a detective," and he said, "No, I am Hercule Poirot, the detective."
There you go. And I'm assuming this is the same Poirot from the wonderful author Agatha Christie from way back. Is that right?
Precisely. And
Oh,
David Suchet, if anybody loves him, make sure you watch the British TV series that was on, because he is, David Suchet is Hercule Poirot, and you are the investment expert. And in the future, we've just started, I touched on this earlier, and again, I want to reiterate it because I think it's so exciting. We're starting the Offshore Club Gurus Corner, okay? Wide
right.
variety of gurus in a lot of different areas, fitness, wholeness, right down the line. And you are the guy that I know can help people understand where the smart money is going.
Well,
right?
yeah. Well, pretty soon, Carter, this group is going to be considered the smart money, and everyone else is going to be trying to follow them.
Fantastic. That's
Nice.
that's perfect.
I appreciate the warm introduction, and thank you, everybody who was watching and listening. And please give us your indulgences for not being able to actually see my face, but in time you'll understand why, and it won't even matter, because the content, the information, the knowledge that we are going to be able to deliver to you, the power that's going to come from understanding the markets and knowing what to do and when to do it for your benefit, my face will be the farthest thing from your mind. But Carter, I started my career 27 years ago right on Wall Street, 67 Wall Street, which,
All right.
by the way, that building at the time was filled with aspiring young financial professionals. Now it's a series of condos. There are no buildings left on Wall Street itself where you can show up there like I did with a suit, tie, a briefcase, and a lot of energy, enthusiasm, and dreams of conquering the markets. It's all gone.
It's gone.
It's a distant past. But I bring that knowledge and that experience to this crowd, and I'm very excited to do so. In addition, I've also had a lot of direct experiences that relate very well to everyone that's paying attention here. I've lived overseas extensively. I lived in Barcelona, Spain for 5 months. I lived in Mexico for 2 months. I've been to Costa Rica 3 times, El Salvador twice, Mexico a half a dozen other times. I actually owned a condo for many years in a Caribbean country. So I've done all of these things, even though that's not really why you're having me on here. But I do believe it allows us to make a connection to what we're trying to accomplish overall. Yes, it's great. Let's buy gold at $1,700 an ounce a month ago, and here it is at $1,865 an ounce. Fine, that's great. But we're trying to do something together here. Okay, we're trying to make sure that ourselves and our families are going to be taken care of financially and in the geographic locations that, well, can make a great fit for us for the rest of our lives.
Well, absolutely. And I think, there are two, we have really, our audience is in 2 groups. One are the thousands of Offshore Club members who are already have the joy and pleasure of living offshore. For them, it's going to provide what you're going to tell them, and the tips you're going to give them are going to provide a tremendous supplement to their income. Yep. For those who are still living in the U.S. and are making their plans and laying the groundwork for getting offshore, hopefully, folks, as soon as possible, this is going to help you get the money to make your move. So, Romulus, what the service you're going to provide in the Guru's Corner is absolutely incredible. I mean, I'm thrilled, and I know our viewers are thrilled.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. And there was a note I got from, I call my club members centurions.
Okay.
I know in the ancient Roman army, you joined as a legionnaire. You didn't actually join as a centurion. That was a promotion. But I bring them in at a higher rank. And I have Primus promotions and then all the way up the ladder there, maybe to senator one day and perhaps even emperor. But we have our centurions. I got a note from one of them a couple of days ago. And the markets, they're crazy. They're emotional. They're up and they're down. And he's been doing this for a while for himself, like a dozen years. And he's been in my fold for about 9 months. He said to me, he wasn't really talking about the gains that we've been making. He was just talking about the difference in his emotional state every single day. He's calm, he's collected, he has a clear mind. And in the end of it, he said, oh, and it's been great making money too, by the way. Thank you for that.
Well, let's talk about making money, because you really do help people make money. when we talked earlier, you said you started telling me, you told me when you started back when the whole economy collapsed, I think around 2008, and the kind of money you helped people make then up to where we are now. Give us that history if you don't mind.
There was a joke going on at the end of 2008, early 09. Thankfully, it wasn't directed at me or my results, but people with their retirement accounts, they said, yeah, I had a 401k in 2007. Now I have a 201k. And that was if you were lucky, you only lost half your money that year.
Yeah, exactly.
And for like I said, I started in 94. By 1996 or 2006 rather, I had my hands firmly around this market. It did take a while, and I teach people how to shortcut those dozen years by quite a bit. But I had my hands firmly around the markets, and by late 2007, I called the top. It was actually published in a major newspaper. If anybody wants to look that up, we can provide that at a later date. But then in 08, I actually made money. And one of a handful of stock money managers around the world that showed a profit in the second worst year in American stock market history, the second worst year. Yeah. And then it's just been continuing. Now, I'm not the guy that's going to buy Bitcoin for you at $3,000 a coin and make you 1,000%. But I have a skill that I've developed over the many years that churns out consistent, steady 20, 25% returns. And quoting from one of my centurions, he's in a good emotional state during that process. And that's what I want to bring to you guys.
Let's put that 20 to 25% in perspective, if I may. That, folks, when you hear 20 to 25%, that is the exact return on investment that two guys named Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger have made over the decades that have made them billionaires. So that's a remarkable return. That's a remarkable return, Romulus.
Very encouraging. I appreciate that. Sometimes I get so close to it like you do with your job, you lose sight of the bigger picture, and sometimes you're focusing on one tree, and perhaps that kind of happened to me there. But again, it's about expectations. I teach people how to establish a proper set of expectations. Up until earlier this year, when you looked at 2020, which was an amazing year for everything. It didn't matter what it was, stocks, bonds, everything was doing well. Even the old-fashioned gold. But people had a skewed sense of expectations, thinking every year I'm entitled to 200% annualized rates of return. That's beyond ridiculous. And this year, up until recently, people started to wake up and realize, oh, wait a minute, this is a lot harder. This is a lot more challenging. I don't know what to do. Well, first, what you should do is understand how good a rate of return, as you mentioned, 25% really is.
Oh, it's incredible.
And what that can do for your lifestyle. Again, money and trading is not the issue. It's what we're doing with those abilities. Personally, I live a very satisfying life, very satisfying. I work a lot less than I used to, but I'm still at a job that I love to do. You mentioned Perot. This is like a puzzle. It's like a mystery. Every day I get to wake up and be a part of a mystery that really doesn't ever get solved, but I get to play a small role in helping get us a little bit further along that solution. Okay.
And what's important to me is you're going to give Offshore Club members weekly guidance, which is just fantastic. Sometimes we'll do videos, you'll do a column, and folks, you're going to hear things like, well, I can get the average mutual fund is about 10% or so. Don't believe it. It's not true.
Yeah, and it's only in a good year that they're making those kinds of returns. In a bad year, it could be a lot different than that. So my plan, Carter, is this. I plan to write every week and do a video supplement every week. It's not. I want to do them both.
Fantastic.
I hope the audience would appreciate that, but I'd like to do them both if I may.
Fantastic. And I know they'll appreciate that, because what better way, if you're already, you got to think about it, folks. If you're living in, let's say, Nicaragua, because, in today's show, we're interviewing Charlotte Tweed down in Nicaragua. And, the average, if you can bring in $2,000 a month, you live like royalty in Nicaragua, in Honduras, Ecuador, El Salvador, these places. Now imagine supplementing that, and for another, even if it were a couple hundred, let's say it's 1,000 or more, then you're beyond. You are the elite. And so the service you're providing, Romulus, for Offshore Club members is absolutely fantastic.
And I tell you something, you mentioned enhancing, improving, and maybe going a little beyond what you thought of as a good goal for yesterday. Now it's maybe expanding a little bit. I looked at extensively, Carter, in the last few days, the homes, some of the homes that your operations are able to provide for people down in these locations, with the water reclamation, with the solar and the energy development that's going on. And these communities, I've been there. Okay. Costa Rica
Yeah.
is a completely different environment than El Salvador, as an example. But if you're in a country like Nicaragua or Honduras or Guatemala, these places that are not like modern day America, they are experiencing different styles of living. You can bring life to these people. When I lived in Mexico, I'll tell you, it's a great story. 1989, I go down there for 2 months. It was a junior Peace Corps operation. They put me in a village of 1,000 people. There's no running water. There's no electricity. There's nothing of a modern convenience. My job, Carter, was to dig latrines for people. And I did that for 2 months. I dug latrines. I held classes about how to give proper hygiene. It was an amazing difference. But that was the thing, because I came from a middle-class background, in modern day America. I was able to go into this place and make a positive difference in their lives.
That's fantastic. And I think all of us look forward to doing that. And also keeping in mind, these people, when you move into these communities, because I've lived in them, okay, these people down there make a positive difference in your life too.
Absolutely.
Because they have a better lifestyle now. Okay. They just do. If you think back, I always tell people, if you loved Mayberry, you'll love Central America, South America, because they still live that way. There's a sense of community. And imagine, and again, very good point. Imagine being able to have so much money thanks to your help with where to steer the investments, that you can help out your neighbor. There's nothing more wonderful than that. There's nothing more wonderful than that.
I can't, if you guys could see how excited I am about this opportunity to come back. And it's been a little while since I've been to these countries.
Yeah.
But to engage with a group of people that are so involved in that idea, I'm bubbling from the inside out. Okay. And on the business front, Carter, I was just reading recently about a business that Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon, has invested in, and they have 70,000 homes in Mexico and Central America. This is one of his bigger investments, not his biggest. Of course, it's Amazon and the space company. But it's one of his bigger investments that he's involved in. He's a smart guy.
Very, yeah. Oh, it is. It's the place to invest. And your advice is going to help people who want to, I encourage people all the time, buy property now. Buy property in Central and South America now. Folks, the prices, as much as I hate to say it, since Offshore Club started and we started recommending people buy, the prices have started to rise. So I'm glad you said that, because what you're going to tell them is going to provide them the money to buy those places. So Romulus, let's start it next week. One video a week, one column a week. I'm going to say thank you on behalf of every member of the Offshore Club. Thank you.
I'm so excited about that. And I tell you one last story before I go. My first visit down to that region, not Mexico, but in the Central America, was Costa Rica, 1999, July. And I saw these cement block homes right on the beach or just off in different towns. It was Jaco Beach and Tamarindo and those other kind of cities. I know you're familiar with these places.
Yeah.
And they were selling for $50,000, $60,000, 2-bedroom, 1-bath, or 3-bedroom, 2-bath, little carport, not garages, because they're not big on those, but the carports, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
And the jungle's right in the backyard with all of the monkeys and all the coffee and everything. And I wasn't thinking. I mean, I was a lot younger than I am today, and it just wasn't going through my mind. I thought back then I should have picked up 3 or 4 of them, rented them out, had one for myself as well. And now they're all going for $400,000, $500,000, $600,000 a piece.
That's it. That's it. And that's what we're going to see with the investments that the Offshore Club members are able to make because of your investment advice on the stock market. So Romulus, thank you for joining us. And we're going to do this regularly. And next week, we're getting started with Romulus in the Guru's Corner. Thank you very much.
Absolutely, guys. Have a great weekend. And this is going to be a tremendously positive journey for me. And I pray and hope that it is for everybody listening, for you as well. See you soon.
Thank you. Okay. Wow. Folks, let me tell you something. The big mutual funds that tell you, as I mentioned in the interview, that they bring in 10%, they don't. The biggest mutual funds for the college endowments, where the intelligent people are, actually bring in 4 to 5% per year. Okay. With your Guru's Corner expert here at Offshore Club now, you have a shot at 20 to 25% a year, which is fantastic. Okay. It's it's Warren Buffett level. You can't beat that. So thank God we got Romulus aboard now in the Offshore Club Gurus corner. Your free financial advisor. Fantastic. And that brings me to another essentially advisor. Our second interview was someone that you are going to love. You're going to love what she has to say. You're going to love her. And that is the editor of the escapeartist.com and the editor of the Offshore magazine they have at escapeartist.com, Insiders Magazine, which yours truly writes for. And what she tells, she's in Nicaragua, which, as you know, I love. I always recommend to you the two top places right now, Nicaragua and Uruguay. She's in Nicaragua, and so we interviewed her there. She's going to tell you a little bit about what life there is like there. The surprises she's had as a brand newcomer, I think like a week, and what you can find at Escape Artist, kind of a sister organization to your Offshore Club. We bring you different types of material, and the Insider magazine. So, super producer Brian, let's talk with Charlotte. Hey, Charlotte, how you doing? Welcome to Coffee with Carib Carter. I've got my coffee mug here. It's my Carib Carter coffee mug. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. I am in beautiful Nicaragua today.
It looks absolutely gorgeous there. Thank God you can't see out the window where I am in York, Pennsylvania. It's very cold and frigid, and all the leaves have died. Unlike, wow, look at the nice Caribbean breeze behind your head.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And I'm originally from Canada, so it's snowing and blowing and storming there. So I'm glad I'm not there today.
And all your friends up there are envious.
They are.
And I believe, but let me set the stage first, that we're going to talk about your newly arriving in Nicaragua, one of my favorite countries on the face of the earth, as Offshore Club members know. And then you're the top person, the editor at Escape Artist and of Insider Magazine, which we want people to subscribe to, folks. So we're going to pitch you on it later, but we're not there yet. First, let's talk about, you've been in Nicaragua how long now?
For a week now, and this is our first time to the country. So
incredible. So give us your just absolute first impressions right off the top of your head.
It's not what I expected. And we were in Belize for 6 weeks. So we got to Nicaragua from Belize, and it's completely different. When we were in Belize, we were staying right in San Pedro. Right. And here we're staying on Grand Pacifica. So it's like a little Mayberry here. I feel like I'm in a beautiful small town community, and the grounds are meticulously maintained. It's quiet, except for the birds you can hear singing behind me. And
it's fantastic.
The weather has been excellent. Yeah.
Well, I think, I'm glad you said Grand Pacifica, because we do $1,000 listing Caribbean in every episode. And I've told the folks about how beautiful Grand Pacific is. And it is what we have part of Offshore Club is what we call friendship villages. Okay. Where we tell people exactly what you just said, that these are like Mayberry all over Central and South America. Mm-hmm. And Grand Pacifica, to me, and you're there so you can give us a first-hand account, to me, it is the most beautiful, peaceful, copacetic residential resort community in Central America. What's your impression there?
Oh, I would agree with that 100%. I feel like I am in a different country, but even from Nicaragua itself, like, there's homes here. The streets are quiet. The odd time someone drives by on a motorbike or a golf cart or a truck goes by. And this setting is what I am looking for. Like, that's part of the reason we're here, is we're looking for a winter getaway from Canada or a permanent new country. So that's why we're here investigating Nicaragua, and why we were in Belize. And I just love the tranquility here. While we're sitting outside, we can hear the ocean.
Wow.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I think Grand Pacifica has like 2 miles of beachfront. And folks, go to grandpacifica.com, look it over. the homes are gorgeous. As Charlotte says, the community is warm and wonderful and welcoming, and the homes are incredibly affordable. So check it out. You can become Charlotte's neighbor.
And there's a variety here. There's smaller homes like casitas, and of course, and yes, there are the $1 million homes right on the ocean as well. So it's a community for anybody. We met one of the residents here. She's been not here for 16 years. She's been living here for 8 years, but she's been in Nicaragua for 16 years. She's from Canada. We sat on her porch and had a cerveza, and she told us, ins and outs and what to do. And she loves it here. She's in her little casita and peace and quiet, just enjoying the good life.
Folks,
it's definitely the slow down.
Yeah, it's a nice lifestyle, and you again have a sense of community, which kind of losing in America because of all the oppression from above,
Yes.
and you have it there in Grand Pacifica. Now let's talk a little about, now that we've got people already running to their phone to put in their order for their home in Grand Pacifica, let's talk a little about your role at Escape Artists. Escape Artists, by the way, folks, let me put this in perspective. Long before there was an Offshore Club, I was a member of Escape Artists. It's the first place I turned to. This had to be 15 years ago when I started realizing I wanted to, eventually to buy offshore, move offshore. And Escape Artists has just always been fantastic. I think it's essentially the oldest offshore website on the internet, right? Sure.
That's correct. Yeah.
And so it has a great following and tremendous information. So what is your role there at Escape Artists now? What should people be looking for when they come to Escape Artists? It's the feel, the look and the feel. In many ways, a lot the information between Escape Artists is fair. Some people may say, well, Carter, you're promoting a competitor. No. We have competitors. International Living, Live and Investment. Yeah, they may be competitors, even though we love them. But Escape Artists, no, we're like two peas in a pod that complement each other. So tell us some about what people can get at Escape Artists. EscapeArtists.com. That's it, right?
That's correct. Yes.
Good.
And I think what joins us is the libertarian attitude. Our writings are libertarian. We talk about offshore. We cover cryptocurrency, investing in different countries, moving to different countries, expat interviews. So I talk with people who have been there, done that. When you're looking, a lot of our readers want to hear from people who have been there and done that. How did they move to that country? Why did they move to that country? So I'm the writer for Escape Artists. So I do the newsletter and I edit the Escape Artist Insiders magazine that comes out once a month. So that's our paid subscription. The newsletter is free. And we have other things that you can purchase in our bookstore as well to help you plan. We work with accountants that are offshore. We work with lawyers that are offshore.
Good.
So yeah, full resources.
Yeah, I noticed, I've read articles on the Escape Artists and in the magazine, which we'll get to in just a minute, from Erica Gemma, who to me is just the top authority on Bitcoin in the world. Some great articles for anybody who's wondering, I wonder if I should make that investment. Recently, there was an article by Patrick Hebert. I think it was last week you interviewed him. It's just a great guy on, it was a BitChute. Is that what he wrote on? I'm trying to, it was two, it
maybe,
was that?
Yeah, I'm not sure. It wasn't Patrick. So you could be thinking I interviewed the crypto hippie.
Okay.
So yeah, maybe you're thinking about that one.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. But just they're great articles, and they get into a lot of areas that Offshore Club really focuses on helping people find the exact place they want to live. I research all the time. I got a great place for you later in the show, by the way, folks. But it's a tremendous resource, and it has a unique magazine. I think Insiders Magazine is the only magazine of its type by any offshore organization. So tell us some about Insiders Magazine and what people find there.
Yeah, it's completely different from what you would see from live and invest overseas type of thing. Is we have offshore developers that write for it, that are experts that have been doing it for decades, investing and developing in other countries. We have, Joel Nagel also writes for us, and he is a lawyer that specializes in helping people go offshore. We have writers from Key Bank International. So there's offshore banking that write every month. I write every month. I'm more the travel side of it. So I put in articles on that with expat interviews or my views on countries that I've been to. You mentioned Erica Gemma. She writes for us monthly as well. Yeah, we have a wide variety. We bring in guest writers as well to fit with different themes. Or our theme coming up for December will be tropical escapes.
Tropical escapes. Well, that sounds very enticing. And I think I believe that right now, people who come aboard right now, folks, in response to this podcast, who come aboard right now can get a great discount on Insider Magazine. Is that correct?
I believe it's 66% off. Yes, I believe
fantastic.
So.
Which
60
is
or 60% off.
What did you say?
And Carter's writing an article for us this month as well.
Yes, you have an award-winning writer writing for you. An article. I have a great article, folks, about my Uncle Jimmy Zagami. And you're saying, why in the world would you write about your Uncle Jimmy Zagami, who, as old as you are, Carter, must have been dead for 30 years? And you'd actually be right. But it's an incredible story. And it really has a good lesson for those who are still stuck in the U.S. as things continue to plunge into the abyss. Uncle Jimmy waited too long to leave where he was. And I think it's a good story. It
is. I got your message loud and clear. So
good. I'm glad. I hope everybody gets it and joins you and me offshore. So I got to ask you one question. When I ask you this question, folks, this is totally off the wall, and Charlotte's going to go, where in the hell did he come up with that? But I got to ask you, because I've never heard your last name before, other than in one context. Can you guess what it was?
I bet I know exactly what you're going to say.
What am I going to ask you?
Shannon Tweed?
No, actually.
Oh, go ahead. Go.
I was thinking a little further back. Remember how old I am? Boss Tweed.
Oh,
if you are a descendant of Boss Tweed.
You cut out there on me.
Boss Tweed was the great boss of Tammany Hall back in New York City.
Oh, Boss Tweed. Yes. Boss Tweed. Yes. Yeah.
Please tell me he was your great grandfather.
Well, maybe my husband's.
Maybe
right, my husband.
You're gonna have to check with him. Yeah, he may be covering it up because a lot of people didn't like the boss.
No. My husband loved the movie Gangs of New York, and he said, I have to find out if I'm related to Boss Tweed. He hasn't found that out. But since I thought you were talking about the infamous Play Bunny from the 80s, he is related to Shannon Tweed.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, this...
Because I always get that. Always.
You do get that. Well, it's a pretty unique name. Yeah. I mean, Clues actually is a very popular name in England, but Tweed's a pretty unusual name. So I'm glad. Check with your husband on that. Next time we have an interview together, another month or so, we'll let people know what the story. So it gives you something else to look forward to, folks.
I can send him on that.
What'd you say?
I can send him on that research trail.
So give us a glimpse of where you see your life in Nicaragua heading. You think you mentioned you may stay there winters and all that, or you may stay. I have a feeling
possibly.
You're going to. What'd you say?
I said possibly. We've left Canada for the same reasons that you mentioned, right? The oppression up top. We just don't see a future there.
Nothing.
And it breaks my heart. I'm more in the loss of my country. I really do. But I don't see a future there anymore. So we are looking for other avenues. Where to go. So this is the first time we've been to Central America. We're well traveled, but Europe is where we have always traveled all the time and extensively through the States and Canada. So I thought, well, it's time to check out these Central American countries because we've been reading about them through other organizations, and we have to go down and see it ourselves and see, can we live here and look through it through a different lens rather than as a tourism lens and just visiting, but a permanent solution to leaving the winters, leaving the government oppression, leaving the skyrocketing prices. I mean, my brother went to the grocery store the other day and one steak was $36.
Unbelievable. It's just appalling. And it doesn't have to be that way. I mean, as bad as Biden is, Canada has a genuine kook. I mean, Fidel Castro's son is a nut. Pierre, what's it? Yeah. I mean, I'm sorry, folks, but things are horrible. And I'm glad you didn't. I always tell people, because I'm like you, I love the United States, but I always remind people what Reagan said one time when Sam Donaldson said to him, "Why'd you leave the Democrat Party?" And Reagan said, "Oh, well, Sam, I didn't leave the Democrat Party. The Democrat Party left me." That's where we are. And a lot of Americans are finding that, a lot of Canadians. So congratulations on having the courage to step out. And it's fantastic. And I'm thrilled that you're an escape artist and that you're the top honcho at Insider Magazine. Folks, subscribe to it. Go to escapeartist.com and subscribe to that magazine. You are going to love it. Absolutely love it. Everything you need is right there.
It helps you plan for your escape so that you can become an escape artist. Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, Charlotte, thank you very, very much. It's really been a pleasure. And let's do this at least once a month. Yeah,
sure. I'm game.
All right.
In a month, I'll still be here. After that, then we're going to Mexico.
All right. All right. Thank you very,
All
very
right.
And
thanks, Carter.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful person. Wonderful service she provides. Great information. Access it. Avail yourself of that. Subscribe to the Insiders magazine. It's the only magazine like it in the offshore world. Okay. I love it. That's why I write for it. And I think you're going to love reading it. Tremendous information. Okay. Tremendous information to help you make your move offshore. Now, finally, as we always do, one last thing to help you make your move offshore. Our motivation moment. Carib Carter motivation moment. So I have a great short video for you. It's only 4 minutes with the man who plays God. Okay. In a good way. Okay. Listen to this challenging, uplifting, stimulating, motivational message from Morgan Freeman. I think you're going to love this. And I think it's going to help you make your decision to make your move offshore. Let's do it, Brian.
There are those of us who like to venture to the unexplored, to see the beauty in the strange and unknown. Those of us who go out there with a sense of wonder. It's the magic of risking everything for a dream that nobody sees but you.
Beyond this place of wrath and tears looms but the shadow of the shade. Yet the menace of the years finds and shall find me, unafraid. God, it matters not how strait the gate, how punishment charges the scroll. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul.
I have to remind myself that some birds aren't meant to be caged. Their feathers are just too bright. And when they fly away, the part of you that knows it was a sin to lock them up does rejoice. Let me tell you about a voice. The one that whispers. It tells me what's right and what's not, when to leave and where to go. It's not Shakespeare. It does not speak in memorable lines. My inner voice always gives it to me straight. Tells me who my real friends are. When to say yes, when to say no. Whether the person sitting next to me is the one I'll be spending the rest of my life with.
You already know that dedication, hard work, and perseverance gives positive results.
Let your instincts guide you.
Your 15 minutes are up. You better start thinking of something else. What else to do? What do I want to do? I picked a day that I was going to go to the Taxi and Limousine Commission to try and get my license. And the day before I decided to go, I got a call from my agent. Paul Newman is casting, wants to see you. Getting a job is like having money in your pocket. If you got it, you can get it. Strangely enough, so this was in September. By October, I had a TV job, an off-Broadway show. I was directing a play, and I was going to be in January going to do this movie. It's called Harry and Son. Go figure. What would you do if you weren't an actor? If you didn't make it as an actor, what would you do? I have no idea. I would act somewhere, because I'll die if I don't.
All right, folks, that is just wonderful, wonderful, inspiring message from a guy I really like, a guy who, when he talks to you, it goes to the heart because it's from the heart. And what he says, I hope reaches your heart, because it's very, very important that you make your move offshore for all the reasons we've talked about, whether it's a Mad Max reasons or the wonderful, rewarding reasons of a good life at a great price in the sun, the sand, and the surf. So as I say at the end of every podcast, folks, let's do this thing.
And that's a wrap. Thanks for joining us at the Offshore Club. For more information on the Offshore Club or to contact Carib Carter, visit www.offshore.club today. www.offshore.club. That's www.offshore.club. See you next time at the Offshore Club.